So Street Fighter V Arcade Edition is on its way along with Season 3. Obviously, these new updates will lead to more character balances on the roster, and these future updates always get me thinking about Juri, since she is my favorite character in the entire series. Now with that said, my relationship with Juri in Street Fighter V is a strange one. While I do prefer her new playstyle to her Street Fighter IV counterpart, her obvious handicaps make it very difficult to win with her, especially at a high level, and her ranking on the tier list reflects this. The community seems to agree that Juri is either low tier or bottom tier, and I sadly have to agree with that. Juri has a lot of shortcomings that make her less viable than most of the roster. With that said, there are a few simple changes that would make Juri more formidable, so I decided to create a list of them. I call it, How to Save Juri in Street Fighter V. Because let's face it, nobody's playing her. Now these changes will start off basic, but then become more elaborate as the list goes on. In other words, the first few changes are simple and very easy to implement, whereas the later changes would be more difficult, but also offer a huge benefit to her character without making her overpowered. So if you're a Juri fan like me, please like this video and tweet about it to Capcom. That way they might see it and consider these changes. Alright, let's get started. Number 1. Let Juri start off with her attacks already stored. One of Juri's greatest weaknesses is that she always has to give up space to start off the round. Otherwise she might not get a chance to store an attack. So basically every round starts off with a backdash, that way you can store an attack. Which sucks because it forces you to push yourself closer to the corner and also makes you very predictable at the start of each round. Come to think of it, Juri is the only character with a fireball who can't use it at the start of a round. That's just unfair no matter how you look at it. And since Ibuki starts off with her kunai, it makes sense for Juri to start off with her attacks as well, especially since they aren't nearly as powerful, and are more limited. This first change is something that Juri desperately needs, and it would be very, very easy to implement. Just this one simple change would go a long way to making Juri a much better character. Number 2. Make her fireball more powerful. Since Juri has to manually store her fireball, it doesn't make any sense why it's minus on block. Once again, Ibuki has a similar projectile and it's +2 on block, meaning Ibuki still gets to attack even if it's blocked up close. I think Juri's fireball should provide this advantage as well, especially since you only get to use it once. If making it plus on block is too powerful, then maybe give it 2 hits instead, similar to an EX fireball. That way you could trade with other projectiles on screen and still be a good tool for pressuring the opponent. At the very least you can make it neutral on block, that way it's not unsafe to do it. Number 3. Have her crouching heavy punch be the anti-air it was always meant to be. Don't get me wrong, Juri's standing heavy punch is a great anti-air. It even hits behind her at times, somehow. But I feel this makes the normal too powerful, since it's already a good footsie tool. So it makes more sense to shorten its vertical hitbox, and then make crouching heavy punch more powerful as an anti-air. Otherwise, crouching heavy punch isn't very useful outside of crush counter punishes. Number 4. Give Juri more health. Juri simply doesn't do enough damage to warrant her health being below 1,000 points. Since her damage is average, it seems fair that her health bar should also be average, or just increase her damage to warrant the lower health bar. Either option is fine to me, but something needs to change. Number 5. Make her stored medium attack safe on block. Having this attack be unsafe makes no sense to me. It's already slow enough to be interrupted, and has 0 mix-up properties. Plus, once again, you have to manually store it, so it makes more sense for this move to be neutral on block, or at least safe. Juri is meant to be aggressive in this game, so a tool like this shouldn't be punishable on block. Instead, make it more like Akuma's forward heavy punch. Or you can keep it unsafe, but make the attack an overhead. Since overheads in Street Fighter V are already unsafe, this change would be very appropriate, although I think the first change makes more sense since Juri already has an overhead attack. Number 6. Make the second hit of her medium kick special cancelable. One of Juri's recent buffs is that she can combo medium punch into medium kick, which is awesome since her medium kick is cancelable, but only on the first hit, which is honestly a tricky combo to pull off, especially during a tense moment. So it would be nice if the second hit was special cancelable as well, similar to her back heavy kick, just to give Juri an easier bread and butter combo that is similar to the rest of the cast, especially since this is her only medium link combo. Number 7. Increase the stun on her crush counter heavy kick. Make it more like Urian's heavy punch, so she has enough time to dash in for a combo. This may seem minor, but it's actually a much needed change, since her crouching heavy punch doesn't have enough range to punish certain reversals. For example, the most you can do after blocking Cammy's cannon spike is heavy kick, and it's the same story for other reversals of that nature, so this small change is actually really important. Number 8. Improve her Vtrigger. As it stands, Juri's Vtrigger is little more than a combo extender. It doesn't offer a big comeback factor, and doesn't give Juri any new moves either. Instead, it just gives her access to her stored attacks at all times, while also allowing her to chain her normals together. However, unlike in Street Fighter 4, she can't use this combo after an overhead, which means she has no mix-ups to threaten the opponent with, so a nice change would be to bring that back. Allow Juri to combo after her overhead during V-Trigger. Also, make it 2 bars instead of 3, since it drains very quickly and is all used up after just 2 combos. Now this change is very important to me, since I'm still salty about Zeku's V-Trigger. It really is just Juri's V-Trigger, only better because you can dash into it. Come on Capcom, you literally gave him a better version of Juri's V-Trigger. I'm never gonna stop being salty about that. Alright, that's it for the basic changes. Now let's move on to the bigger changes that might be a bit absurd. Number 1. Allow her EX quarter circle forward kick to store all 3 attacks. This one is a bit on the crazy side, but actually makes sense visually. This attack hits multiple times, so it would make sense for it to store an attack with each hit. Plus it also costs meter, so having it store more attacks seems fair, especially when you consider the opponent could V-reversal out of it. Now if this change seems too powerful, then make it only store attacks on hit and not on block. That would make the move more balanced. Number 2. Bring back her dive kick. Juri's dive kick was an iconic attack in her moveset. Not only was it great against projectiles, but it also offered a good mix-up to her jump-ins, plus the EX version could be comboed after. I understand that her air throw along with the new flip kick were meant to replace this move, but it just doesn't feel Juri without the dive kick. And since some characters like Cammy and Zangief both got new special moves in a recent patch, it isn't that absurd to give Juri a new move as well. Alright dogs, that's it for the list on how to save Juri. Don't get me wrong, I love how Juri plays in this game, and I honestly do prefer it to how she played in Street Fighter 4. The main issue is that she's a rushdown character who has to constantly stop her offense just to store her attacks. I mean, imagine if Cammy had to stop her offense just to store her cannon strike. That's what it feels like to play Juri right now. You get a good combo or two, but then you have to stop dead in your tracks. Which is why I think all these changes, or in fact even just a couple, would go a long way to making Juri a much more viable character. If not in tournaments, at least online. Thanks for watching everyone. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below. If you want to help support the channel and look good while doing it, please check out my t-shirts. If you want to support the channel more directly, please check out my Patreon. And make sure to post a comment down below as well. What changes do you think would be great for Juri? Once again, thanks for watching and make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs!